Yep, we are ready. Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome. This is the PingPod Pro League. Here bringing you the first match, Adar, Alguetti, up against Steven Granaturov. Here and now with umpire Sean Reddy, 0-all. And let's get this party started. Now, the key here to this match is Steven is going to have to maintain an aggressive game. Great service. Now, Steven has a very aggressive backhand, and man, oh man, it is going to be his bread and butter. If he can get that rolling, he's going to have himself a very contentious match. Reverse pendulum, short to the forehand, sets up his forehand perfectly for a third ball attack. Steven playing the control game and keeping the pacing quite even. Adar, slow and controlled, first opening loop sets up a consecutive forehand cross court. Good idea from Adar, targeting Steven's elbow. The execution unfortunately falls through. Now, Steven keeping his strategy fairly straightforward. Serve with a little bit of side spin to Adar's short forehand, setting up his third balls in the middle and forehand. And it's been working out quite well for him here. The key is to consistently return the ball to Adar without getting too crazy with your own shots. I believe that is the first pendulum serve we have seen going to the center of the table, getting into a little bit of a backhand rally with Adar. Steven wins out in that exchange, and the heavy underspin service from Adar has been absolutely quality. I believe we just won 2, 3, or even 4 points off of that serve and setup. Mixes it up. That one, either a little bit of dead or some topspin on it, sets up a high ball, easy to attack. The tried and true Adar finally adjusting a little bit to his service. Now Adar seeing Steven stuck in that backhand corner, targets the wide forehand, and Steven's gonna really have to move in order to cover that. Once again, exploiting that wide forehand corner, and it seems like that may be the strategy that Adar is going to have to use in order to keep up the momentum going into this second game of the match. Wow, a wicked third ball, straight into that backhand corner. Now, it is all just business here, ladies and gentlemen. 1 point after another. This is the Pro League. This is the PingPod extraordinaire. The cream of the crop, the top of the top. Now, Adar, I believe, is pursuing professional ventures, and I don't know if he really gets that time to practice table tennis as much as he pleases, but still very sharp in his matches. And Steven channels a lot of power through that shot. Sat up a little bit high, and it's quite wristy, and it comes at you with a lot of force, man. I was on the receiving end of those shots myself, and guys, I tell you, those backhands are absolutely vicious. And once again, that wide forehand corner, it seems like that's going to be the asterisk that Steven is going to have to revisit once this match is over. But it's not over till the big lady sings, so. Keeping it PG for the PingPod crew. Variation in service is very nice from Adar, but it's all been really mixes of different amounts of underspin, and sometimes it could get real heavy. An onslaught of pressure. Steven going for the all or nothing shot, trying to perhaps make up a large game deficit. And you know, it just builds up, guys. You know, once you start losing one game or another, and hold on, let's just take a moment to acknowledge how good of a shot that was. A block by Steven right to the wide forehand corner. Pinpoint coordination on the edge of that table, but not hitting the actual edge. And finally, once Steven is able to get his footing into that wide forehand corner, he wins out the exchange. Fantastic stuff. Now, in this third game of the match, Steven seems to be finding a little bit of fortune early on and slowly building up a point lead. That being said, how long is it going to be until Adar catches up? Will he let him get away with this point lead? And, you know, as soon as it comes, as soon as it goes, he's not letting him get far with that at all. Four-six, excuse me. Steven maintaining his minuscule yet very, very important point lead. Comes out, covers the side spin on the serve receive, but loses out in the gunfight on the backhand to backhand exchange. Let's see what kind of service Steven offers us here. The strategy remains the same. Set up your forehand on the third ball attack, variations of side spin to the short forehand. Mixes it up, great placement down the line, forces Adar to cover the wide forehand corner. He's just been sitting there enjoying his backhand to backhand exchanges with Steven, but Steven says, let's mix things up a little bit. And great stuff there from both players. Steven really starting to cover that forehand corner and being present there. Adar, sometimes when he's having to switch between his forehand and backhand, he's getting a little bit caught off by a pacing that is a little bit foreign to him early on as he's getting warmed up here in this first match of the series. And this is very good stuff for Steven here, building up 3 game points in this third game of the match. Let's see what he serves for. Excellent stuff from Steven here, and a great serve. Something that we hadn't seen from him so far. He served like decently long into Adar's backhand reverse. Most of his serve setups have been going to the short forehand and the short middle, setting up his forehand, but he really went deep into Adar's backhand corner, and he was not expecting that at all. And guys, it is just a game of inches here tonight. These guys are the top of the top, as we mentioned before. The ball, if you just creep up a little bit over the net, those balls are going to be whacked away with incredible, almost missile-guided levels of precision. And a big forehand-to-forehand rally there. Adar wins the gunfight. And you can hear Adar, maybe you can't, but I can. Adar says to himself, man, I'm so slow, and it's oh so important to be ready for that third ball, especially after you serve. You know, you serve, you get into the position, but sometimes the receives just come so fast, especially if they come long. You have trouble stepping in and out of the table, but that's what makes these players so good at what they do, is that they recognize the faults and the errors in their game, and they're quick to make adjustments on the next balls. That being said, we are here and now, 6-2 scoreline. The receives are looking good from Steven. Has really sharpened up his serve game in comparison, at least, to the first and second game, where he was having trouble outright receiving the heavy underspin service from Adar. With that being said, the balls are drifting a little bit long on the short receive, and I don't know if Steven is going to be able to find the answer in time. Man, majestic stuff from both of these players here. Adar, good footwork, moving side to side. He's trying to target Steven's forehand in that rally, and he's built himself quite a formidable lead here. An 8-4 scoreline with a 4-point advantage. And it seems like the strategy for Adar has been to set up a third ball opening to his backhand and then follow up to that wide forehand of Steven. And that sequencing between getting an opening forehand loop to Steven's wide forehand, or opening up with a backhand into Steven's corner and then following up into Steven's forehand, has been kind of throwing things off. Ladies and gentlemen, 5 game and match points for Adar Alguetti. And what a way to finish it off. A dismissive forehand flick finishes up the first game of the match. And man, what a valiant effort from Steven. He's just been absolutely killing it. And we're going to have a quick word with the winner of the match, Adar Alguetti. Where does he sit? Oh, okay. Where's the camera? All right.
Yes.
Adar, a different setting, but we're here under a new set of bright lights at the PingPod. It's my first time here, but it's always a pleasure seeing you. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. I had a lot of work this morning, but we're here to play, and first game's good. So.
I mean, it seems like it's all business. Work in the morning and still keeping the ping pong business going on at night. How are you managing between these two things? Are you getting good time to practice?
Here and there. There's a strict schedule, and you just have to follow it. If you follow it, it works. And we'll see if it works today. So far, it's working. So.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your strategy playing against Steven. What has kind of been going through your head, and what did you find different, if anything, than what you expected going into this match?
Yeah, Steven is a great player. He's very hard to predict and goes for crazy and good shots. And so my strategy going in was just to try to play my game, play my shots, and disrupt his game doing so. And I think it worked. Towards the end of the third game, I kind of lost it, but picked it back up right in 0-0 in the fourth game.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little bit of an interesting start for you, a little bit of a slow start, shaking off that first game rust.
Yeah.
Were you trying to target Steven's wide forehand? Is that something that you were going for?
I wasn't going for anything in particular. I was just trying to play my shots. You could see the hesitation in the first game with some of the receiving. I mean, he's varying everything, so just getting used to that rhythm. And after that, it was kind of smooth sailing until the third game.
Gotcha. All right. Well, that was a fantastic game. Congratulations on that one. But the show is not over yet. We have some very formidable opponents tonight.
Oh yeah.
Eddy, Mishel, Levinski. The man is just coming from an international tournament. He played against Ma Long. Does that give you any nerves at all?
It gives you all the nerves in the world. I mean, he took a game from Along. It's exciting to see a U.S. Team member competing in that sort of sense and competing with those guys. So I'm just excited to see him back here and hoping to have a good match with him.
Absolutely, and maybe you can be good, that good one day, Adar. But
find out.
We'll see. Can you snatch victory from the very, very grippy hands of Mishel Levinski tonight? We'll see. Good luck on the next ones.
Thank you, Al.
Thank you, Adar. All right, guys, all banter, of course, but we are back here and now into the present. We have already gotten started with the second game, the second match of tonight. Eddy against Mishel Levinski, and just as we had talked about, Mishel is coming from some very rigorous prep. The man has been playing a ton of tournaments. Just played in the Ryu Sung-min Open, and he was in the final. I'm not quite sure if he had closed out the final, but he played a very good match up against Ojo Onolaupo, a very formidable opponent in of himself. And one thing that I was very interested to see, when Mishel went up against Ma Long is, how good is Mishel Levinski's reverse pendulum serve? And it's something that's always going to be brought up anytime he plays a game. With that being said, it is the real deal, guys. We saw even Ma Long, the GOAT, the legend, the greatest of all time, the man standing at the top of the flagpole, planted solely at the top of the hill. Even he struggled with Michel's reverse pendulum serves. So if a world-class player at the level of Ma Long is struggling with Michel's serve, we can imagine just how tough it is to be on the receiving end of those from these players here tonight. And Mishel coming in as the top seed, wanting to make a statement, wanting to prove that he himself is the PingPod Pro League vanguard is the word that we're looking for here. The charge. Is Adar going to be able to close the gap that he has been slowly distancing, that has slowly been existing for him as he doesn't get to play as much tournament play in comparison to Mishel? We'll see, but let's bring ourselves back into the game here. Oh man, all right, put that in your highlights. What a fantastic shot. A chop block with more underspin than an Amicus Prime robot on max settings. Eddy was going to have to do something miraculous, and it landed so short to the net as well. Such a difficult shot to return. Eddy, a very strong player in his own right. It seems like he's the one really trying to take the initiative and might be putting a little bit too much pressure on himself, but he's going for a lot of all or nothing shots, and maybe he needs to have a little bit more confidence in the rallying game against Mishel, but it's so difficult playing a lefty because in those long rallies they could just come out with some very wide shots in all sorts of directions across the table, and it's hard to cover those wide corners. That being said, second game of the match. Let's see if Eddy changes anything up from the first game of the match. A tough shot, clips the top of the net and falls off the table, loaded with a ton of topspin. Mishel, you can see him trying to ease it back onto the table, but with the slightest touch, the ball just pops up into the air, giving Eddy a complimentary slap point, leading us into the current scoreline that we are right now, a let ball and a 1-2 scoreline. A great combination from Eddy there. Flips to the wide forehand corner of Mishel and quickly steps around, gets him into the wide backhand. A 1-2 and a 3-1 right now. Feet stuck a little bit in the mud there. Eddy kind of had to step in for that one. Landed slightly short on the table. Tries to go forward for it and open up the wide angle. And Michel's going for these highlight shots. Steps around and tries to go for the inside out. Lee Sang-soo style. It's very good stuff. Now, Eddy's trying to keep things sharp. You can see earlier on his strategy was to get in backhand to backhand exchanges down the line with Mishel. I don't know what he was seeing there or if he was very careful about avoiding Michel's forehand, but he's slowly but surely trying to change things up here, and we'll see what he may or may not be able to figure out. But it is Michel's serve. with a decent bit of spin on it. Eddy tries to flick it over the net, but still a couple of inches to clear. And shovel serve short to the forehand with a little bit of side spin. Mishel pops the ball up. Eddy still having trouble moving in and out of the table for those third ball attacks. Oh, guys, that was beautiful. And staying ready. So not only does he fake out the serve with the reverse pendulum, but the most important part of that is he gets quickly ready after the service and blocks the third ball incoming, making sure that his opponent does not get a free point if he is able to return the ball. Ball clips the top of the net there, and good timing for Eddy. He needs all he could get here at an 8-9 scoreline. That was a very, very important point. And Mishel had a 2-point lead there, getting it into a very, very crucial time of the second game of the match. And it's much, much harder to close out an 0-2 gap than it is to start building momentum from a 1-1 scoreline. Mishel, no slouch, of course. These serves are very, very dangerous, laced with lethal amounts of side, under, and topspin. And you can't really tell what is what. And as you can see there, they come from all sorts of sides and angles. And here and now, a deuce, 10-10 scoreline. Coach Eddy going for what looks like a pendulum serve. Clips the top of the net. Good fortune for Eddy. Went for a slight underspin ball towards the center of the table with a soft forehand flick. He's finding his pacing and bettering his timings, but he still is having trouble reading Mishel serves. And guys, I don't know if he's going to be able to figure out these serves by the end of this match, because they are very tricky. So we'll see. The second time that has earned Mishel a point. The reverse pendulum serves, you know, when Mishel sends these serves out, you really got to focus. You're like, all right, I'm gonna bring myself down closer to the net level. I'm gonna keep an eye, paying very close attention at how his wrist movement is looking, how his setup is looking, and then I'm gonna try to predict. But even then, when you're really paying attention, when he really brings you in, he's like, here, look at this picture in my hand. You start coming in close to the picture, and boom, flick of the wrist, a completely different picture appears, and the ball is coming to your very wide forehand at lightning speed. And you never know if you're going to be able to get there in time, but even if you do get to that ball in time, he's standing there right in that corner, ready for that third ball. A 2-0 scoreline. Mishel maintains his composure and nerves. Great stuff. The fake out, the head tilt. Mishel giving us all a fantastic show here. And Guys, this is tough stuff to come back from. An 0-2 deficit, especially when you were at deuce. Mishel heating up here. That was a big swing from Eddy. But even then, Mishel does not give up on the point. He is there, and he's trying to not give away any sort of points. The ball comes with a little bit of side spin on it, and Eddy barely whiffs on that ball. Finding a good bit of success in his shovel serves. It seemed like he's shied away from them a little bit early on after getting easy third ball receives, but he's missed a couple of those. I think he should have went for a few more of those shovel serves. He was getting good success on them here. That being said, it's that cross-court forehand shot that Steven has been looking to put away these points. Eddy has been looking out to put away those points that he's been struggling with here. Read perfectly by Mishel. Fades away the shot and fakes out Eddy straight down the forehand line. And it is all falling apart here for Eddy as Mishel sets up for two serves at 2 games away from match point. And it is hard. It is hard to stay literate in a match against Mishel serves. This stuff is hard to read, guys. It's hard to read. These serves, magical. Mishel, I was wondering if we could have you for a little post-match interview.
He's up again.
Oh, you're up again. All right.
I'll go to the bathroom. Give me
There you go. Quick bathroom break. Mishel, you had us all on our feet at the international teams competition match against Malong. You gained a lot of new fans that day. Tell us a little bit about your recent adventures internationally.
I mean, I was fortunate enough to be able to go play a World Championship and represent the U.S. In Zhengzhou in China. Playing in China, obviously, it's a great experience because the fans and everyone around, they're just so professional, and you feel the atmosphere and the energy from them. So yeah, I got a chance to play against Malong when we played against China in the group. It was an incredible experience where I was able to enjoy myself, and I was able to get some good points and amazing experience and learning.
Absolutely. Now you're staying sharp in all of these tournaments. How important is it to get these very contentious matches in order to keep yourself sharp?
Yeah, so normally in order to be able to play internationally very well, you have to play against those players all the time. So obviously when I travel and I play once a month or every other week with them, of course you get better and better and more consistent.
All right.
And then you're able to fight with them.
Excellent. Now your most contentious match is up against Adar right now. The number 2 seed and the number 1, the big clash here. Any specific strategies going into this match?
Yeah, I have to focus and win every single point. I think last time we played in the same group also, last year in the PingPod Pro League, and that was a little rush. So I lost, but yeah, we'll have to focus now and
All
fight
right.
for every point.
Excellent. Well, good luck on your match.
Thank you.
And we may or may not see you after this one. Depends how well you do. Excellent. Good luck. All right, here getting a good warm-up in the marquee match of the PingPod Pro League tonight, guys. This is what you've all gathered here for tonight. Crank Master Mason says, I am 1050 rating. Now, table tennis is a game that takes a long time to learn. Adar here is sitting at a 2595 rating. I believe he had a peak of 26 something, probably on the higher end of that, but he is no slouch. And you know, you might struggle a little bit, Mr. Crank Mason, receiving Mishel serves. But it's going to be very interesting to see how he does against Mishel himself tonight. Now, these players, guys, both Adar and Mishel, are reaching into a special gear that they hadn't really activated the whole night here, staying very focused, and Adar is looking extra focused here against his match against Mishel, knowing that he can't give away any easy points, and both of these players are going to take it as far as the other one will. Mishel taking his time. That ball was very low to the ground. It's like, you know what, I'm going to put as much spin as I can on that ball, and I'm going to get ready for the next one. Adar was sitting there just for hours in that corner, it almost felt like, waiting for that ball. And once it came, it was a little bit too much spin to handle. A 4-3 scoreline. Good setup. With a little bit of topspin, short to the forehand, Mishel attempts to put a good bit of heavy underspin on the push in order to make the ball as difficult as possible for Adar to return. But these guys are not giving the commentator any chance at all to talk about the match, guys. You know, I'm gonna need you to slow down a little bit. Give me some time. But this is the nature of the PingPod Pro League. It is all business, guys. All business, all professional. The Pro League never disappoints. Great stuff from Adar. His forehand's been having a little bit of trouble, especially on those big shots. But he measured himself, he paced himself quite well for that one. Finds the open forehand corner of Mishel, and down the line he goes with a nice arc on it. I believe this is the first time that Adar has found himself in the lead for this game of the match. Capitalize it, takes his time and spins it nice and slow. into that corner while maintaining a good bit of pace. The ball dips underneath Mishel's racket, not used to. That shot here. Mishel puts his hand out and finds the ball with his racket. The ball comes back unexpectedly to Adar's middle. And a 9-9 scoreline. It is neck and neck, as close as it gets here, guys. Staying very focused, Adar spots Mishel moving early, and he waits for him, serves it to his forehand, his short backhand, excuse me, and it goes right into the net. And the serve receive is a little bit tricky. Adar has been setting it up with variations of underspin, puts a little bit of topspin on that one. The ball pops up and he finds a third ball attack. The ball clips the net, unfortunate for Mishel, but we are here in the second game of the match, 0-all. Mishel puts the ball out of its misery, and the ball climbs up to heaven and does not come back down. So bringing up another one for sacrifice, a quick warm-up here to get used to the new ball, and back in action, an 0-2 scoreline. And good fortune, luck be a lady tonight for Adar Alguetti, finding the top of the net a few times here. A good serve from Mishel unexpectedly for Adar, sets him up for a good point. Now, as fast as it came, as fast as it went, a 3-0 lead from Adar is quickly usurped by Mishel, brings it back, and even takes the lead. 4 points in a row for Mishel. Can he keep it going? Goes high up and tries to load it up with a lot of spin, but maybe it was a little bit too ambitious on that one. Now, good stuff here from Adar, staying patient, staying controlled, especially on those spinny shots opening up. Oh man, that is just fantastic stuff by Adar there, guys. He's been varying up the pacing and his speed and his third ball attacks throughout, and he just really made Mishel wait for that one. And it is just a game of turning tides here. Both of these players are winning their points in chunks. We see Adar, getting an early point lead, a 3-0. Then Mishel grabs 3 points back, and Adar gets a few points in, 7-4, and then Michel's coming back, bringing back the points. So it's all about who's going to be keeping their momentum going here. Once again, clipping the top of the net, but Mishel, guys, he's looking very sharp on these counters, not giving away any space away from the table. Uh, 8-5 scoreline. Adar goes for the long, fast serve, but Mishel quick on his feet. You know, he's very focused, quick to react, takes it right off the top of the bounce. Good, coming with a little bit of side spin, fanning the across the ball with his backhand. The side spin just goes a little bit too far away from Adar, and he's not able to cover it. But like I said, man, it's a game of turning tides, and both of these players have been winning their fair share of points, but they find themselves up in a tie, 8-all scoreline. And that shot hadn't really found too much success here tonight, especially when Adar is close to the table, trying to find that forehand corner line, his forehand corner. Good stuff from Adar there. Sees that the ball is about to drop after a chop block from Mishel. Thankfully, it wasn't loaded with too much underspin on it, but he had stepped there just in time. The ball was high up. If that ball had landed any lower, I don't know if he would have been able to get that one, but good stuff from Adar. Great stuff from Mishel. Opens up the ball down the line very quickly. He's taking these balls right off the bounce. Right off the bounce. Man, it's kind of incredible, isn't it? Adar had built himself a nice point lead with a little bit of fortune with the ball clipping the top of the net, and right when Mishel needs his net ball on the most important point, he gets it, and he is able to get the match closing point off of that one. A 1-all game in a very, very contentious best of 5. A great fake out by Adar. Opens up the ball with a flick, takes it down Michel's forehand line, and you could just tell Mishel was not expecting that one at all. Good stuff. A quick 2-0 point lead here. Surprising stuff from Adar, bringing out the long, fast serve, but Mishel has been ready for every single one of those tonight. Side topspin serve gets pushed, and man, guys, I tell you what, these chop blocks are so pretty. They've done quite well for Mishel here tonight. Some of them were anticipated well by Mishel. Good rallying from both players here. Tries to mix it up, attempts to go to Michel's forehand corner instead of that cross-court shot. Good stuff. A nice combination from Mishel. First takes it down the line and then goes cross court. It's those combination that really set you up as a player to get a good portion of your points. Mishel takes a calculated risk. He's up in that in this third game of the match, and he can go for a little bit more risk. So I'm not too mad at that swing. Mishel attempting to keep his pushes sharp, maybe a little too sharp. Ball does not clear the net, and we find ourselves at a 6-all scoreline. A nice serve from Mishel here. And that is a sentence that we're going to be hearing a lot tonight, guys. Oh, a complete misread from Adar straight to the depths of the net with a whole lot of underspin on that one. Mishel gets jammed up, attempts to push a ball, but not quite reading the spin on that one. The ball pops up way out, and away from the table. Oh, great stuff from Mishel. Unrelenting, keeping that real estate close to the table, not giving away an inch or a foot. Keeps blocking down Adar, and Adar himself, he keeps that onslaught of attack coming, but once he gets that block in, Mishel steps around and finishes it. And man, high level stuff here at the PingPod Pro League. Man, you can see, man, Mishel sets himself up so well. Puts some side spin on that ball, sends it long to Adar's backhand, knew it was going to go to his wide backhand corner, steps all the way around, fantastic footwork, and gets the inside out forehand. It's a big movement, but he finds the edge of the table for the match point. Now, Adar in that last push rally, the ball kind of slipped a little bit loose, but he was kind of not sure if Mishel was going to open up or if he was going to keep the rally short, and that indecision had cost him the game point for the third game. Now, here we are in the fourth. Nice opening loop from Mishel, goes cross court, and he was getting low and ready for that attack from Adar, but it never really came. The next one sets up the counter, and Now Mishel is the one controlling the variations in pace and speed and attack and defense and blocking down. And that is the kind of privilege that you get once you build yourself a nice game lead. Now, something to be wary of as a table tennis player in general, but especially at these tense moments as we get close to the end of the games in a 2-1 scoreline. Lucky edge ball there from Adar, but he'll take what he could get. Mishel has been getting some good fortune himself in the final matches of, in the final points of these game sets. So as I was saying, as you get closer to the end of these games at a 2-1 deficit, you might start to tense up a little bit as you come closer to the end of the games, especially if you're not in the lead. And it's so important to stay loose and free. In the sport of table tennis, in order to be able to play the best shots. Now, Adar kind of hemorrhaging points here a little bit. Might be finding ourselves out of timeout soon. We will see. Ball clips the top of the net, and you could just see how much underspin was on that ball. The ball barely clips the top of the net, holds onto it for dear life all the way down, and no chance for that ball to be returned. Man, great rally from both of these players. Mishel blocks the ball with a little bit of a fanning backhand, and the ball comes on with a little bit of underspin on it. Adar tries to guide it back onto the table. And then the moment he finds his attack, he gets it in. And Mishel playing too many games in an already complicated game. So he loses out on that one, but he's still maintaining his lead overall, a 9-6 scoreline. Ah, man. Very nice, very controlled. Winds up for that one, takes it down the line, and here for 4 game and match points for Mishel. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it. Your winner, Mishel Levinski, sharpened by 1,000 sharpened by 1,000 rocks that are professional table tennis players across the world. He's been getting that work in. Mishel, can we get you for a quick interview again? No. All right. Can we test this out real quick? I don't know if it's working or not. But we'll exchange the microphone. Yeah.
This has to be.
The cameraman is on a lot of work tonight, guys. We're putting him in overtime.
Oh, you can give me.
And not spooky, guys, but you're going to be seeing my face in a second. Oh, here we go. Here with Mishel post-match against Adar. Man, what a great match. Tell us a little bit about how you feel after that one.
I mean, as you see, I'm a little tired, but yeah, I have to work for every point. I mean, he's very consistent and he has great serves. As you could see, I made quite few mistakes on the receive with him, but thankfully I was able to serve quite well also and put a little more pressure on him. But generally I had to fight for every single point. There are very little mistakes that I can win on simply.
Yeah. Looking very sharp in that one against Adar, and it looked like you were trying to maintain as much real estate close to the table, not giving away any space. How important is it for you to keep up that pressure close to the table, or is that something that you're actively keeping in mind?
Yes, I mean, generally you try to be a little closer to the table, especially if he's attacking well and putting a lot of pressure. You want to be closer to get the ball quicker to him. But also I was trying to not get into long rallies, as he's quite good in the mid-distance tap. So I was trying to catch him on the straight line for backhand to backhand, put a little more rotation on the ball, and does not get into a long rally. But when he is attacking, I have to get a little closer to put a little more pressure on him.
It got a little bit of contentious in the middle of that game after the 1-1 scoreline. Adar's strategy seemed to be to change up the variation, the pacing, the timing. How were you able to make adjustments to Adar's adjustments?
So I think when I won the second game, he was trying to get me a little more on short game. While I'm waiting for a long push, he tried to push shorter, and while I'm waiting on a top spin from him, he's blocking softly. Yeah, so I just had to get closer to the table and take the rhythm into my game.
All right, looking very, very sharp, and I really, really like the focus from you, Mishel, especially in this past month that I've seen you play. It looked like you're kicking up into an extra gear here, so good luck on the rest of your games tonight, and I really hope to continue to see that focus from you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Back in it here, guys, and a little bit of a highway robbery on the first game on Steven's part. He got away with a massive point lead early on, and he kept it throughout the game. And it looks like he's setting himself up quite well here for the next one. Eddy finding himself in an 0-4 point deficit. The top of the net is finding a lot of companionship tonight with a lot of our players in the PingPod Pro League tonight. Eddy making himself quite familiar to it tonight. Steven perhaps getting a little bit overzealous with a point lead and maybe a little too experimental. (3-5) scoreline. Eddy goes to the shovel serve, sends it long to the backhand, a little bit of side under, and goes to the middle of the net. Good variation from Eddy, earns himself 2 points off to the serve. Good stuff from Steven, opening up with the backhand and following up with a quick step around forehand. That being said, he's still maintaining his pacing. He's not rushing too much. He's keeping it consistent. Good stuff from Steven, and I really, really like the composure. (7-9) in the second. 2 important points right here. Steven doing well for himself, reading that serve. However, the follow-up not quite as convincing. Eddy maybe rushes a little bit too much, eager and earnest to close out that point, and finds himself a whole lot of net in that attack right there. Steven trying to load up on the spin after his first opening loop.
Hey, what's up? Yeah, what's up?
A little bit of inquiry, an audit from the players on the umpire's scorekeeping. The umpire passes the audit with flying colors. He's been very diligent about his work tonight. Jules Apatini says, I was happy to see Mishel had some great experience playing Malong and others, and also had some workouts with my friend Robert Gardosh, who is still a world-class player at the ripened age of 44. Indeed, Jules, Mishel is keeping himself very sharp, and Robert is a fantastic player. I especially love watching him in the doubles game. He's majestic to watch in those doubles matches. High level stuff, and still very competitive till today. Now, that is the world-class levels that we were talking about earlier, and these players are not too far, guys. All we need is a little bit of extra time on our hands, and we may be able to see these players competing at the world level. Some of them are busy with school, some of them are busy with work, but who knows? Anything can happen. Third game of the match, and Eddy serve, enjoying himself a decent but not too comfortable 3-point lead. Steven taking his time, blocks that ball across. Block was quite high on that one. Eddy saw the ball high and it was like, all right, my opportunity, my chance, my time to shine. Let's close it out with a big attack, but the timing is unfortunately not quite right. And Steven closing the deficit ever so slightly into a 2-point game. A great rally from both players there. Fantastic shot from Steven there. Finds a nice, comfortable corner wide into Eddy's backhand there. And the contact just came so late that Eddy just could not respond to it at all. Good stuff from Steven there. Not over till it's over, and Eddy makes sure to close that one out convincingly with a strong forehand, telling us that the fight is still there on his side. Wow, a great counter from Eddy, finding a lot of success with his forehand in this game against Steven. Maybe it took him a little bit of time to find his timing, but it's all coming together here towards the middle stages of the game against Steven. Oh, great shot from Steven. Comes around the net. And underneath the table, the ball comes on. And Eddy just had no clue what was going on with that ball. So he just guides it back onto the table and takes his time. Could hear the squeaky shoes from Eddy. Just you could just listen to how majestic that footwork is. Making sure to stay active on his feet. That being said, a 5-0 scoreline a lot of these matches tonight in the Pro League have been absolutely neck and neck so far. Closing the deficit. Eddy now with a serve of his own, 6-7. Good stuff from Eddy and a nice third ball attack there. Takes it cross court. Changes up the spin variation and the push goes long on Steven's side. Unfortunate stuff on Eddy's side there, but very fortunate for Steven. Finds himself at a very opportune moment to close this one out. Maybe going for a little bit too much there. It looked like he was going for an inside-out shot with a little bit of side spin, fanning forehand shot into Eddy's backhand. Great stuff from Steven there. The confidence is there, and that was a. All right, let's talk about that point, guys. Okay, because a very important thing to highlight there is that he had two opportunities to close out the game. Right, the first one doesn't quite get there, right, and if he loses the following one, he's at deuce. And then if you lose that deuce, your opponent gets to serve. If your opponent gets to serve, he has the initiative. And these are all things that may pop up in your head as a table tennis player in a tournament. And those kind of things sometimes brew some nerves. But Steven, not really thinking about any of that, or perhaps puts it onto the side, maintains his confidence, and you might see that kind of an anxiety or those thoughts creep in on your shots. And may make you play some shots kind of at a lower pace, or you might go a little bit softer on the ball. Make sure it doesn't go out, but maintaining his confidence, very important. Goes for the kill shot and gets it in, closes out the match. Great job, Steven. Now on to the next one, Mishel versus Steven. These players giving us a very strong warm-up here. complete misread on Steven's side. The ball flies up, and away from the table. Enjoying a little bit of a point lead. Steven goes for a more dangerous shot, which I'm not too mad at. Wow, guys, did you see the amount of underspin Steven loaded up on that shot? Mishel really dug into that one, but still couldn't clear the net. Oh, great short push from Mishel. Puts a little bit of sauce on it. Counter is ambitious from Steven. Now the first one, Mishel had went for the attack. The ball popped up on Steven's side, and Mishel chose to go to that wide corner deep into Steven's backhand. Hold up, great rally. All right, good stuff from both players there. Let's bring it back. When the ball pops up the second time, Mishel chose to go deeper into Steven's middle, jamming him up a lot more, and he's not able to clear the net. And these are a ton of adjustments these players are making at any given moment. And that's what we love about the sport of table tennis, is that there's so many things that you can kind of look out for. And it's just games within games within games, guys. Mishel showing us a strong start here, firing on all cylinders at the start of the second game. Wow. Guys, you know, I wish I could tell you. I wish I could give you the secret of what is on those balls that Mishel is sending out with his serves, but yeah, I don't think we're gonna find out anytime soon. Maybe in like 10 years. Maybe in like 10 years, if I get a little bit better, I could read, I could be more literate, I could find out. I don't think so. I don't think I'll ever find out. Steven gotta make sure to cover that wide forehand corner.
Well, it was going out, I think, for sure. The ball was going out for sure. Okay, I'm saying if you want to you see?
Now, our viewers may actually be able to tell us here, but maybe from the camera angle they won't. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by pretty table tennis, guys. A roar, a scream, a cry out. Frustration brewing in the PingPod Pro League. Mishel finds himself at the precipice of additional table tennis games that he did not plan for playing tonight. But Steven, he's not giving away anything for free, especially in New York. Prices are getting more expensive by the day. So Steven tells Mishel that, hey, if you want to win this game, you're gonna have to earn it, and earn your pay tonight. He shall. Mishel with what looked a little bit of a brain fart there. Sometimes we have those. We're human beings. Sometimes the simulation doesn't really go through well. You know it's serious when the Russian comes out. Always a tough sign. When the second and third languages come out, guys, you know that the players are unhappy. Perhaps with their performance, perhaps about the state of the game, but you are in charge of your fate and destiny. And this is the interesting thing about the Pro League, guys. Steven is sitting at a 2391 scoreline. A 2391 rating, USATT. Wow. And Mishel is at 2578, almost a 200-point USATT differential at the highest level. And guys, if you know anything about USATT rating, the higher you go, it is much, much more difficult to gain ratings. So these 200 rating points might not seem like a lot, but there's a lot that goes into those points, and Steven is keeping it very, very competitive. It looked like Adar had done quite a number on Mishel's stamina, and can he keep it up here against Steven? Now, guys, table tennis is almost a marathon sport. Your focus is going to have to stay very high across the entire match, and it's not only physical, guys. It's a mental game as well. And that fatigue can come both physically and mentally as well. So, got to stay sharp, but impressive stuff from Steven Granaturov here. A 2-1 lead over Mishel Levinski, the man who had just fought tooth and nail to pry the match-winning game out of Adar Alguetti's hands. And guys, I don't know what to tell you, but like a budget horror film, when the producer doesn't know how to come up with any new ideas, the writing may be coming up on the walls here. As Steven is looking very dangerous in a 2-1 scoreline. Excuse me, in a 2-1 match score lineup. Mishel staying very obstinate, very stubborn, and not wanting to give this game away to Steven. Those wind-up shots from Steven have not really been connecting too much, not finding a high success rate on that. And maybe an advantage for Steven that he is familiar with Mishel, but he's reading his serves quite well in comparison to everybody else here tonight. I think he's done very well for himself as far as these serve reads, and the receives are not too loose. Mishel saw his point lead almost evaporate right in front of his own eyes as Steven was winding up for that shot. That being said, fights hard, claws it back, closes out the fourth game of the match, a 2-all scoreline, as both of these players step away from the table to cool down, refresh, and focus on the next one. In this fifth game of the match, what are we expecting to see here? Now, Mishel's going to have to really focus up here. And as much as it's going to put strain on his body, he's going to have to focus on staying low, controlled, staying fast on his feet. And I imagine he's going to be taking attacks a lot earlier than he has been doing so far. Service variation is always strong with Mishel. A 2-all scoreline, and good thing on Mishel here. Early on in the game, we saw him kind of get a little lazy about those shots, but steps in, very focused. A 3-2 scoreline. Mishel, third ball attack, does not give away anything to Steven. Second time he targets that corner with that specific serve, finding the same rate of success as the first one. A great receive from Mishel. Fades away on the ball. Requires a very good read on the spin. Good stuff. Steps in with the backhand opening loop. Nice stuff from Steven. The ball slips loose long from Mishel. Maybe he wanted to go half long and expecting Steven to go for the push. Steven waits for it. Steps around and goes for the forehand. And these forehands are, they're hitting, guys. They're hitting. These are nice forehands from Steven Granaturov. Oh, Steven, high on that confidence juice, says, you know what? I'm going to go for the miracle shot. Attempts to go around the net. Victory favors the brave. And Steven is looking very fierce here, guys. So Michel's going to have to be very focused, especially as we approach the end of this match. Same setup, ball pops up. This time converting successfully. It all, Steven says to Mishel, you might be 200 points my senior, but I will close the gap with sheer will. Sheer will, sheer brute force. I am going to break through. Fantastic rally from both players there. Perhaps being a little too predictable in that one. Steven goes for the tried and true backhand serve, short to the forehand middle. And the read was just there. Mishel was like, get this ball out of my face. Goes for the big backhand swing, closes out the match. And even though the scoreline may have went as the seeding suggested, I don't think this is the match that anybody expected tonight. A fantastic showing from Steven. That man has something to prove, guys. Anybody who fights as hard as that man has got his eyes set on something that we're not seeing, something beyond. Steven, a fantastic showing tonight. Let's see if we can get a quick word with Steven. All right. Here with Steven Granaturov. Man, that might be some of the best play I have seen from you. I don't get to watch too many of your matches, only at Westchester, but you are looking very crisp, very clean, very focused, almost like you had something to prove. Steven, tell us a little bit about your game with Mishel.
Well, firstly, Mishel is a fantastic player. He's much better. But I have the privilege to play with him a lot, so I kind of am used to his serve. I mean, I make some mistakes here and there, but more or less I know what to do. And I was able to more or less capitalize, but I wasn't able to finish, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like, Mishel had to really pull his game together, had to step away from the table and mentally reset himself there, as maybe he was taking you a little bit too lightly. But you kind of, you changed that real quick. He had to focus, had to bring it in. He saw how serious you are about not giving away any games, any even points, any space. Great stuff from you there. What was your strategy coming into this one?
Well, focus on serve receive. Try to make it. I'm not trying to put crazy quality, but I'm trying to play more or less short so that I can't give him the incentive. And for the most part, I had the incentive the entire match. So it just depended on whether or not I made the shot, more or less.
Yeah, I mean, early on in the day, we saw you trying to set up your forehand. However, you were having some trouble with the timing, clearing the net. But it kind of started coming together towards the end of the day. Was there an active adjustment that you made, or was it just a product of you just being more warmed up?
Well, forehand is my main shot, so I'm going to go for it regardless. But at first I noticed I was missing a lot, so then I emphasized on just spinning the ball first. And then when I got more warmed up and the grasp of things, then when I went for more power.
Gotcha. Now, Steven, tell us a little bit about your overall table tennis goals and ambitions. What are you working towards right now?
Well, right now I don't have much time to play, unfortunately, because I'm finishing undergrad. But the goal is for me to get a national title. It's going to be very difficult. It's going to take not 1, not 2, not 3, maybe 6, 7, 8 years. So that's the goal.
Yeah, when you say national title, is there anything in particular that you have your eyes set on, or just anything that's out there?
Yeah, U.S. Nationals or U.S. Open, they're both highly recognized tournaments in the U.S., so that's kind of what I'm aiming for.
All right, Steven, we'll be rooting for you. A great display. We hope to see you maintaining that level of focus and composure and elite table tennis play. Steven, thank you so much for a fantastic show today, and good luck. Yep. Like piranhas in the water smelling blood, our lower seeds, our third and fourth seeds today, almost like they smelled the fatigue on our first and second seeds after some very tight matches and a lot of energy expended. These guys are closing in on the wounded sharks, and they're trying to bite off a piece, a chunk of their rating, a chunk of their table tennis attributes. We'll see if Eddy can maintain this going forwards, but he closes out this first game successfully and now into the second one. That being said, it might just be a little bit of rust from Adar that he's shaking off. Wow. No useful commentary at this point, just a whole bunch of sounds and noises. And maybe even a little bit of onomatopoeia. But sometimes words don't do these players' shots justice. Wow. Again. No, nothing useful to commentate. Just appreciation of table tennis at a high level. One all. Adar picks it up a little bit in the second game of the match. Good movement from Adar there, stepping around the ball and takes a forehand from the backhand corner. An audible appreciation for your opponent's shot. Always nice to hear. Oh, Adar tries to pull a fast one on Eddy, but he is taking no parts of it. A dangerous receive from Adar there, chops it short on the table. Eddy nicely controls it back on the table. It looked like Adar just was like, man, that's a nice shot, that's enough, that's all I'm gonna give you. I don't think you're gonna return it, I'm gonna walk away from the table now, I think this game's over, but Eddy says no. We keep going. Excellent stuff from Eddy there. Swift and speedy are two things that I would use to describe that forehand right there. That was very nice. Wow, nice Chiquita from Adar. Takes it into Eddy's wide forehand. Don't think he expected that. Changes the trajectory of it at the last second.
That's so late. Just go.
important here as the game continues on is that Adar maintains a consistent and high level of focus as to not give away any free points. It's not over until the last point is put away, and you got to maintain that focus. Sometimes that happens, you know? It do be like that sometimes. It do be like that sometimes. You hit the prettiest shot of your life, and then your opponent just says no. Slap. Whack.
Alright, come on, again. Here.
10-8. 2 chances for Adar to close out this game. A different serve stance. Cocks his wrist in a little bit, loads up for the pendulum serve, and steps around. Clinical stuff from Adar. Alguetti.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much to Coach Eddy for a fantastic display of table tennis. Thank you so much to all the players from the PingPod Pro League tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, your first seed, Mishel Levinski. Your second seed, Adar Alguetti. Your third seed, Steven Granaturov. And your fourth seed, Eddy. All have put a fantastic display of table tennis tonight, and we greatly appreciate them for that. A highlight of my night so far, Steven Granaturov, my man, excellent stuff today. The result may not have went as well as you wanted, but probably the most entertaining game tonight. And we hope to see you.
Thank you to Al for amazing commentating. Thank you so much.
We appreciate all these players for their continued dedication towards table tennis, and I'm not going to keep you here for long. Thank you to PingPod for hosting this fantastic pro league. The season continues going. Stay tuned for the next one, and that's going to be the next week on Wednesday. Thank you, Steven. All right.